Welcome back, everybody. We know it's been quite the extended break here on Unified 2. Of course, you did just get to see a very exciting game between 100X and Maryville that 100X have won. And because of that, you get to see him again over here on Unified 2. Once again, I am DJ. This is Kenobi. We'll be bringing you 100X against our favorites from earlier, IMT AOE. But of course, we could not bring you this incredible game without our sponsors here at Unified. Take a look at them again. We've got Atlantic, we've got Tipalti, we've got Skulls. Get them into your gaming life. They have certainly impacted ours here at Unified. But back to the teams at hand. A reminder, these teams are now 3-0 as we look at these two matchups on both of the Unified channels. GG Academy and No Team over on the other side after GG Academy dispatched their opponents with relative ease, and No Team had the Battle of the Griffins, and the young Griffin, Zoomer Griffin, came out on top. They'll be battling that out over on Unified Live while we take the winner of those last game against Maryville, and of course the game on this channel earlier in 100X and IMT AOE. So with IMT AOE moving over to the red side now, Kenobi, that Jinx may be a little bit harder to get onto. What do you expect them to do here in the draft?
Well, I hope it doesn't get as far as to get onto IMT AOE on red side, because then I'm very worried. You know, Jinx, I think throughout today and throughout even yesterday, we're learning Jinx is powerful, like very powerful, probably the best ADC in the game potentially at the current moment. Like we just saw, I think Scooped was like 10-0 or something on it. We just saw, I mean, before this, even the game, we saw Michu was very high KDA on it. I think even in the last game with 100T played, or 100T Next played, Array was doing very good on the Jinx. So I think Jinx is like high in priority. We also saw some Corki prop up. So I think definitely Jinx, as you can see, I mean, already Jinx and Corki and Aphelios, power picks across the board are not here. So we're going to get a little bit of a different flavor in this draft here, DJ.
Yeah, certainly are, and we will see what these players are looking to do. Again, we talked about the bottom lane focus that we've seen largely coming out from IMA thus far, but it's a little bit different for 100X because, of course, General Sniper is there. The top lane just came off a very solid game on Renekton, and they'll likely be looking to put resources into him again, particularly with Insanity missing due to a power outage and Sword in his place as the mid laner.
Yeah, we did just see a lot of actually help from the jungle going up towards General Sniper on that top lane, and that's something that we haven't seen a lot of recently. I think we've seen more of like that bot lane focus, but actually what they did with Sniper in that last game, 100 Thieves Next, I think they did a really good job of putting Sniper on that pedestal to really dominate Niles in lane, which he did eventually with all the resources that he was given on that Renekton. Potentially could see something a little bit similar in this matchup if they want to play through Sniper in that top line, but also you can't be looking at that bot lane, and they're no slouches either. Array and Dawnbray had a pretty good performance in their last matchup as well against Maryville, but it's going to be the Jhin to start things off. Definitely a solid bot laner. Interesting that it's the first pick. I think, you know, with the ADCs that are already off the board, you know, the Caitlyn, the Aphelios, the Jinx, Jhin is probably the next best step, and now I think it's really in the court of IMA to figure out what they want to do with their ADC.
Yeah, IMA going to be looking towards a jungler right now with the hover. They will lock in the Diana, and you know, as we mentioned, that Jinx, Array just played it to great success. It's super strong. It's just been taken off the table by IMA along with the other two big carries in Caitlyn and Aphelios. I like the Corki ban as well. Been a favored pick thus far for Mist and 100X. Even Insanity played it before. We had Sword play it earlier today. So big smart bans across the board. And now we have to see where the adaptation comes in for these teams in these early stages of the season. And this is quite different from IMT AOE.
Yep.
Diana in the jungle, and now Ezreal. The first time we have seen that, I believe, in the entire tournament thus far, Kenobi.
I believe that is true. I mean, Ezreal hasn't been a pick. We've seen it's like been a lot of the Jhin, the Jinx, the Caitlyn's, like those, and now we're kind of falling towards these later picks in terms of the ADC pool. Ezreal always, at this point, you know, seems to crop up a little bit as we see, ooh, is that Yasuo pick going to be locked in? It is. So the combo that we haven't seen in quite a while, DJ, the Yasuo-Diana combo for those explosive team fights, that is definitely going to be a focal point for me, is can that Wombo combo really come to fruition?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, right? It's something we haven't seen in this tournament, but we've seen it used to great success before, particularly against immobile mages, immobile AD carries, and it is something, even with the nerfs to Yasuo's items, that I think can still be very, very effective because of the Diana buffs, right? At least one of this part of the two-part combination is extremely strong at the moment, and we know that Winston has played a ton of Diana back in his days with Wildcard last season, so nothing too surprising, but we are already through these phase 2 bans. Teams know what they want. We've got LeBlanc and Gwen out for MT AOE, and we've got Malphite and Ornn taken away to enable that Jhin just a little more. You know, Jhin does hate those tanks. It would take quite a while to burst through those two champions.
Also has the knockups as well, which you want to get rid of against Yasuo. You know, you don't want to give him as many possible opportunities to get that ultimate off in fights. Taking away the Malphite and the Ornn, both solid picks, but also can be comboed really well along with the Yasuo. So we'll see what the options are for IMA going forward in terms of what they want in that top lane as they lock in the Leona. So, I mean, just a solid support pick. Does pretty decently against Rakan. It's not the greatest, but I think it does end up, you know, having the ability to basically play a little bit more okay in lane, as on 100X's side, we're going to be seeing the Galio locked in that mid lane and the Camille in the top. So now if you're anime girl, you've got some decisions to make in terms of what you want to play against a Camille, because it's Sniper's Camille. It's not just any Camille. Sniper's going to be on Camille, so you got to play something in... Oh, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Don't do it, anime girl. This isn't...
Wow.
Is this it?
This would be a throwdown from
Okay,
Alex.
no, okay. Dude, if he locks
still
in
there.
You lock in the Darius here, those are stones of steel. To lock in a Darius against Sniper like this, come on.
He's gonna do it.
Come on,
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do
It's
it.
the
Let's
Darius.
go, anime girl. Alex is locking in the Darius. He is not backing down from General Sniper. And oh my God, what a draft here from IoT.
I mean,
we just went from one of the most expected early season meta drafts for them last game against CGP. Now we got Yasuo, Diana, Ezreal, and Darius. They are throwing down the gauntlet as they chase that 4-0 record against 100X.
I'm loving that. You know, the absolute confidence you gotta have, right? To just be like, it's Camille, it's Sniper's Camille, and I'm gonna play Darius into that. That is actually so confident, and I love that from IMA here, where it's like, you know, 100 Thieves Next is kind of touted as the best roster in amateur right now, and if you're gonna go up against it, sometimes you gotta bring out some of those key those pocket plays, and the Darius is definitely something that I could see working pretty decently against the Camille. I'm not too sure about the matchup and how it goes, but Darius can, be pretty decent in that lane, I feel like. So I think this is a great decision and a great draft from IMA. They didn't get their Jinx that they wanted, but I think beyond that, they've drafted really well specifically for team fights. They can have Darius go into those side lanes if they want, be pretty okay, but their four-man with the Diana, Leona, Ezreal, Yasuo, that's a pretty nasty four-man, if I do say so myself, DJ.
Scary team fighting comp indeed for IMA. But if we look over at the other side at 100X, this is kind of a picture-perfect pick comp, that we're talking about here. We've got the Jhin for long range, we've got Rakan for engage, and that patented Galio-Camille combo has been left up for Sword and Sniper. So there are a ton of tools to enable that Camille, even against this Darius matchup.
And we also have to remember, DJ, the teleport changes are big, right? That means that, before 14 minutes, TPs can only go to towers. So this Galio is going to be in a position to roam a lot easier and impact the map a lot better than the Yasuo will. So in these early parts of the game where, you don't have the TP up just yet, Galio will be able to impact the fights much quicker and faster than something like a Yasuo. However, if the fights are elongated or if they start on IMA's terms with a huge Diana ulti to start things off, followed by a Yasuo, I think that's the best bet back into it for IMA. But pick comp is exactly what I would say fits the mold of 100X's composition.
Pick comp versus team fighting comp. That is a tale of 2021, Kenobi, brought into the world of 2022. So I got to ask you then, we talked about Winston's pathing and decision-making in the game prior to this one. And we were rewarded for talking about that because he absolutely dominated the early game and the rest of the game on that Xin Zhao. So now if you're Winston, now if you are on the other side for 100X, where are you looking? Where are you looking to make some plays and get your team ahead?
Well, I mean, if you're Winston here, I think you have to play this differently, right? You can't play like this very high aggressive early game style because that's just not what Diana is. Diana is very much a power farmer. You want to get to that 6, then, you know, start roaming around and impacting the map that way. So we're not going to probably see a lot of these very early skirmishes from IMA size. Now, on the other side for 100x, you do have Viego, which is pretty okay at ganking in these early parts of the map, especially if you have a Galio, like Galio and Viego against a Yasuo who gets CC'd like that should be pretty decently a kill for them. So I think mid lane definitely could be an option, you know, potentially try and accelerate the Galio and make him very impactful, and the Viego as well. You know, Viego is at a point where if he gets like really fed, he can take over a game, and it is Fnatic. So I definitely think the mid lane is a possibility. It also is, though, we have to mention that Sniper is a definite focal point on any game that he's in. So if they want for 100 next, definitely head up towards that top lane and try and make the Darius's life miserable.
All right, so options there for Fnatic, and of course we know how good he is on this Viego. He's already smurfed on it a couple times in this tournament, so it's excitement all over the place, and I myself cannot wait to get into the game. But before we do hop into the game, Kenobi, you know what I gotta ask you. You know I gotta put you on the spot.
Oh, no.
Who is coming out on top? By the way, everybody, he got it horribly wrong.
I got it very wrong.
So you gotta redeem yourself now.
Well, now I feel like I have to vote for IMT AOE because I said I would, and like I said I won't bet against him anymore. I'm on very thin ice apparently with them, so for the safety of my own personal being, I'm gonna go ahead and vote for IMT AOE in this draft because I don't want them any more angry at me than they were in the previous series.
All right, Papa Smithy missed Sniper and company. You heard it here. Kenobi is against you. Let's see if you can take that and turn it around. Move yourselves to 4-0. There is still all to play for here at the Proving Grounds, brought to you by Unified Game 4. We'll be right back with 100x versus IMT AOE. Welcome back onto Summoner's Rift, everybody. It is time for our fourth game of the open qualifiers. 2 of our remaining 4-0 teams, 100X on the blue side and IMT AOE on the red side, fighting for supremacy as we've got a 5-man stack walking up the top lane. Trevor's there. Trevor, I think he knows they're there, and he's pinging Anime Girl to run for the hills.
Get out of Dodge.
Dodge, whatever kind of car you have. Get out of it. Walk away. Walk away from the vehicle, Anime Girl. It looks he's gonna see him coming again. There's not much chance for Sniper to stun him up just yet, but they will chase out of this part of the jungle and might just start on the red buff. Nope, they won't. They're just gonna head back in, and it's just gonna be safe start for the likes of IMT AOE.
And so when I look at kind of this top lane matchup, because, it is Darius, and Darius is not something we see too often here, I think the Darius can actually box a little bit with the Camille at the early game, as we see actually Leona is still in the top lane. Trevor's still there, as we're going to get a pause, I think, because someone DC'd, it looks like, yeah. That's a bit spooky in the top lane, though, because the Leona's up there, and the Leona can just kind of, be a bit of a pest towards the Camille, early on like that. So I think in the early game, if the Darius can sort of box with Camille a little bit, right? It's not the worst matchup possible. He can kind of trade back with his passive and use that effectively, and his W, and fight with Camille. However, we saw in their previous game for 100T, they did send Fnatic up there quite a bit to deal with Niles. So if the Darius gets maybe a little bit too cocky, a little bit pushed out of position, then Fnatic definitely has an avenue to go up to that top lane, and Camille and Sniper specifically are people that you don't really want to be accelerated that quickly. So they have to play slightly on a knife's edge. It is a decent matchup, I think, for IMT AOE in the top lane, but with Anime Girl has to play very, very carefully.
Yeah, and there's Trevor. He's going to show himself at level 1. He does get the stun down, but unfortunately he can't get much more than that onto Sniper. Does give some good lane positioning to Anime Girl, and that is very important on the Darius in the early matchup. You want to have position. You want to have control of the wave. We'll see what he can do with it, because again, he has taken this very risky counter pick into Sniper to try to derail the Sniper show, the 100X hype train that has been going on for the last 2 days.
And I'm actually going to be interested to see if Trevor will start, doing a little bit more of those roams and stuff, trying to impact the map a little bit more so, because Ezreal is the ADC, and Ezreal, as we know, DJ, very potent at just kind of playing for themselves, can CS very safely. So I think definitely keep an eye out for Trevor roaming across the map, even going all the way topside if they so choose to do so, but definitely mid is an opportunity, as we see a little bit of scrap in this top lane already, and Anime Girl getting that passive bleed going to start things off.
Yeah, nice little 4 stacks. Sniper will just back away. Still pretty healthy. The Camille shield's not as strong as it used to be, Kenobi, but it still does some pretty good work when you are, particularly in a melee matchup. So nothing quite doing just yet on that top side, except a small CS lead as our junglers normal pathing at the moment. But there's an engage coming in from Dawnbray, just saying a little bit of a hello to Trevor and then dashing on back out to Array.
And we do actually see that there is a ward that has been placed on that top side of the jungle, and IMT AOE are going to know exactly where Fnatic is at this time once he gets over towards that blue buff, and potentially something could happen elsewhere on the map, as Winston's actually going towards the mid lane, but Yasuo is pushed out, so not too much there, just a lot of good information coming in from IMT AOE to start this off.
Yeah, he's just shadowy. He's waiting for the Scuttlebug to arrive. We have hit the 315 mark, which means it's here. So is Fnatic, though, and look who is here first. It's Dawnbray up from that tempo on level 2.
He stole it.
The smite. Ah, he definitely stole it. He will flash away as Dawnbray goes back in.
Oh, here comes Anime Girl.
Winston wants more. There's the aggression we're talking about, but in comes Sword. Nice taunt onto 2. Great Justice punches. So close to first blood. Going to go over to Fnatic, and now the resets are in. Can they somehow turn it around? Shochi's going to get 1. Anime Girl's going to get 2, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of IMT AOE.
Oh, and that's a great way to start for IMT AOE here. Getting kills onto the Darius and onto the Yasuo, that's wonderful for them. Really nice flash as well from Winston as soon as the recon engage comes in. That was perfectly timed to make sure that they were able to live a little bit longer. And while resets are very powerful on Viego, just not at that point yet where it was able to turn a fight completely. And we see the first skirmish go in the way of IMT AOE to start things off.
just not enough healing quite yet coming through from Fnatic to fully turn that one. I bet he was probably salivating over. He's like, I got my reset. We're gonna win this. We're gonna take this, but not quite enough there as Anime Girl came through to help clean up the scraps. It is still first blood over to 100x in the form of Fnatic, so not going to be too far behind after the second kill does come in. But again, it's the placement where it goes on to that Darius, that counter pick into General Sniper that will make IMT AOE so happy.
I mean, I was talking about, Trevor being the one to roam. It's actually Hunter who's roaming a lot, and there's four people here. They want to take down Anime Girl.
This play on Anime Girl. I mean, Winston's here. He's reading the play, but doesn't even matter. It's a 4v2.
Can they do this
around, waiting to go in. Double buffs are on Anime Girl. It's tricky. There's the taunt. In they go. It's a great CC chain. They'll knock him down. The reset comes in for Fan. Now they need to get out. Sword will go down. Can Winston get one more? No, the turret shot will not proc onto Fan, and it is a 2-for-1 back in favor of 100x.
I mean, I was wondering if they could have done that, and they actually played that so well in terms of the CC, making Anime Girl not able to hit a full-on Q, taunt perfectly placed by Sword, so that they take down the Darius before any shenanigans can happen, because if that full-on Q goes into 4 people, that looks like a completely different dive under that turret. Does get traded one back for IMT AOE in the kills, but overall, looking pretty even so far. Both of these teams making some aggressive plays to start things off.
Yeah, and that will very much balance out any lead that Anime Girl had from that first kill of his. There's a stun coming down onto Array. He's in a lot of trouble. He has to flash away. I don't think it's keeping him alive. Down goes the AD carry for 100x. Does Fan have the damage? Not quite yet, but there's the TP from Sniper onto the turret. Fan will get the reset. Here's the ultimate from Shochi. They are just duking it out at the moment, but it's 100x still coming out on top with 3 members in the vicinity. Finally, it will be Winston. Shochi's going absolutely insane at the moment, but he doesn't have an ultimate. He'll fall down. There's no level 6 for Winston. He has to head for the hills as a heroic entrance comes in, and I don't think he can get away. Sniper just going to wait for this cooldown to come back on his Z. I do not think there's any way for Winston to get out, and Sniper will pick up his second kill of the game.
What a scrap. I mean, that felt like it was on a knife's edge between both of these teams, but the TP from Sniper, which he has over Anime Girl, who doesn't have a TP, who's opted in for the Ghost, ends up making a huge difference in that fight. And while Shochi did some cool things on that Yasuo, it just wasn't enough to turn the fight back in their favor, and now we're in a position where Anime Girl has gotten some alone time in that top lane, but Sniper has gotten some impact all over the rest of the map, so that's definitely something to look out for with this Camille.
Fnatic leading the way with a lot of these plays thus far, telling us he's been doing this for quite some time. Challengers since he was 16, playing League since he was 12. Reminder, though, that General Sniper did hit Challenger when he was 13, right around that time. So that's the kind of player, the kind of timing we're talking about as we look back at this dive. Trevor is going in. There is just aggression all over the map for IMT AOE. It's a nice disengage from Donbray. Now 4 members are behind enemy lines. The first turret, Trevor will get rooted up. Quite enough follow-up just yet, but as we were talking about, speak of the devil, and Fnatic will appear. Will he go in onto Winston? Instead, it's going to be Sword. He's going to flash in, get the taunt onto 2. Now Fan's looking for the reset. He's going to get it. Array's got a kill as well. And this is looking terrifying for IMT AOE. There's still no level 6 for Winston. He is destined to fall on the backside of this play. He'll take one with him. He's healing up. He will still go down. That flash is not going to keep him alive for much longer. There is Fnatic to clean up the kills, and that's a 3-for-1 in favor of 100x.
And I think that was just a little bit too over-aggressive for IMT AOE. I think the dive, like, if you had waited just a few more moments, I think it would have been much better because you would have had the follow-up, but Trevor goes way too deep without the rest of their team, and very nice collapse from 100 Next. And throughout all of this, we have to mention that Sniper now is 2-0-4, is doing pretty decently in terms of XP against this Darius, and the Camille being able to teleport really into that fight really, I think, impacted the game significantly, because now it's a gold lead for 100 Next. Sochi does have a pretty decent amount of XP to work with, but you can see Sniper a little bit ahead in terms of their own XP against Anime Girl in that top lane.
Yeah, there's a problem with another member of 100x here that's kind of gone quietly by the wayside with Sniper getting a couple kills. There are 5 kills already on Fan. He's level 6. He's got double buffs. He is quite juicy at this point in the game. And Viego's not as strong as he used to be in 2021, but at this point, when you're this accelerated, already on a Divine Sunder, getting those resets is so much easier and becomes so much more deadly.
Yeah, you're going to start becoming a problem right now if you're Fnatic to the rest of the team, but looks like we might have an engagement here at this Rift Herald. Combo is available with the Diana and the Yasuo if the fight does end up breaking out here.
Yeah, and this is where we mentioned, right, the team fighting difference that could come
Here
through, but they're already going right on to Winston, and he gets deleted before he can even use the Moonfall. Now Array just going to play the zoning game with his curtain call, and 100X is decisive. They are clean. They're going to get themselves a Crab, a Rift Herald, and extend the lead.
Love that aggression. I mean, perfectly placed as well in terms of who to engage on right there. They know, 100T, that the win condition for IMT AOE in these fights is to go with the Diana ulti early and then the Yasuo ult to follow. So Sniper goes directly onto the Diana, then the Galio ult follows. Diana isn't able to basically play the game, and the win condition for IMT AOE just evaporates, and Anime Girl can't really stay here, and this Rift Herald is going to get a lot more gold into the pockets of Sniper and Fnatic, two players that are very accelerated currently.
Yeah, it looked a little dicey in the very opening stages of the game with Anime Girl getting that kill, but, you know, the plan has all come together here for 100X. Sniper very far ahead, going to get a ton of gold off this turret going down. The same can be said for Fan on the top side of the map, as has been kind of the nature of this entire tournament thus far. They are very accelerated.
Traded back out for a Cloud Drake, so IMT AOE starting to, you know, move their way towards a potential win condition of that Dragon Soul. We'll have to see if that option is available to them after the next Drake. As we look at the total gold here, Fnatic is very rich. very rich, more so than it feels like a jungler should be at this point in the game here, DJ.
I was gonna say you love to see that when you're a jungler, right? You know, I am the true carry. There have been some jungle metas where they really are the carries, and Viego's certainly one of those champions you can do it on. But yeah, this is really putting the money where the mouth is in terms of I am the carry now, and Fnatic very well set up to continue this play around his teammates, keep pushing this lead that's already ballooned to nearly 3K for 100X.
Yeah, and now really with Camille getting the, you know, the items that she has currently with the Divine Sunder, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for Anime Girl to win in a lot of these side lane matches. So they're going to have to bring some help if Camille is going to side lane, as much as I think that she will be throughout the rest of this game, because there's not really anyone else that can match her just yet. Yasuo would probably be, I mean, besides Darius would probably be a best bet, but definitely not at the point right now. He needs to scale a lot more to be able to even think about matching with this Camille.
Yeah, now we talked about the Fed members 400X quite a bit. That the Fed member on the side of IMT AOE is Shochi. He has benefited from all the roaming that Sword has been doing on this Galio, as is expected, of course, with this champion. He's got all the gold. He's got all the power nearing his mythic item, and he and Winston really need to find a couple of these combinations, start working their way back, because you can see how fearless 100X is at the moment. They're setting up wards in the enemy jungle, and here they come. Just as we were talking about Shochi, he is deleted underneath his own turret. No show allowed. It's canceled because of COVID. Shochi goes down.
We caster cursed him pretty hard right there, unfortunately, for Shochi, but a beautiful, I mean, perfectly executed dive right there, knowing that they had the vision of basically everyone else on the map, and they could make that dive pretty easily. So I like what 100T is doing in terms of continuously just pushing their advantage, getting vision control deep inside of this jungle, and making it very hard for IMT AOE to even just stay under their turrets.
Yeah, very difficult, and great timing once again. I mean, it's early in the season, and we heard on Proving Grounds Pod, right, from Sniper himself, that they were still working through their timings, their synergy, but that's the kind of play that, yeah, I was going to say, that's the kind of play that looks like mid to late season form. I mean, it's a perfect timer on the push in from Sniper. He just walks down to mid lane, synchronizes with his jungler, and easy as you like, they take Shochi down. They take the point of power down and continue to work their way through these tier 1 turrets.
And I think that it might have been like it's kind of very anime arc, where it's like they went through this like absolute battle with like Maryville before this, right? Maybe it like kind of like woke them up and like, you know, made them feel like stronger. It's like we've had this like insane battle where we couldn't close out a game necessarily as much as we want to against Maryville, and now we're gonna really start showing ourselves towards this early part of the game. And they have a significant lead before 15 minutes right now. It's about 3K gold. up double in kills. I mean, what more could you want at this point for a composition like this that, as we start to get into the later game, is going to do pretty decently in terms of their scaling with the, Camille, Viego. Jhin at some point is going to be starting to hit a lot harder, especially since there are some tanks like the Leona at the start, but, Ezreal or Yasuo or Diana step out of line against a Jhin who has some items and they're instantly dead.
Yeah, team fighting is certainly available still for 100x. Maybe it's not as easy, I hit R button like the composition is for IMT AOE, but they still definitely have options, and the option that they have that's largely missing from IMT AOE is that side lane pressure and pick that will always be available with how strong Sniper is, with Sword ready to go, and now with a TP advantage. I mean, IMT AOE has no TPs. We are past the 14-minute mark, so that pick potential, that split pushing pressure gets worse and worse as this game goes on.
Yeah, and I mean, even so, because you have the Galio as well, Galio can just on demand come to a side lane and help someone out, so it's never really feels like a 1v1 in the side lane. It's always going to be that threat of someone else being there and taking you down, and then the push becomes even more difficult to deal with as... I think that was stolen away? I'm not sure if Winston got that one. I think Fnatic might have gotten that one. Yanked it away.
That's rough for Winston. He is still ahead on CS, but he has not been able to show that early game aggression that, hold on here. Are we going to have an honorable duel? No, we're not. The Ghost's just going to get him on out. It will cost that Summon Dispel for Anime Girl, but he will stay alive as the rest of the squad was heading up.
And as we can see in the bot lane, as they know that there are these members in that top side, they were actually starting Drake, but it looks like they're collapsing more towards the mid lane. No, they will just end up going back and getting that Drake, as Dawnbray does not want this smoke, I don't think, against 3 members.
Nope, he is playing with fire a little bit, but he is a slippery customer on this Rakan, and just going to walk towards his teammates. That's enough of a threat to keep Shochi and Winston from engaging, and it will be the first Drake of the game, or excuse me, the second Drake of the game, unless that graphic is not quite right. Oh, we have the Inferno. Oh, that's right. We don't have the Chemtech, the graphic yet. I got a little baited there. First Drake of the game, 400x, and it is that Infernal Drake that goes down, and now a Chemtech Rift, that will come into fruition.
So this is it feels like Chemtech Drake is the ultimate comeback mechanic, right? Where if you find a way, if you're IMT, it's very hard because you have to get three Drakes, but should you ever find a way to get to Chemtech Drake Soul, it's very, very strong. And at that point, you can, have the revive, and I think that that's probably, again, with the team fighting prowess that they have, we haven't seen the combo yet from IMT AOE's composition hit pay dirt, but if they can, snowball some of those really nice engages with those combos into Drakes, into more pressure on the map, that's their way back into this. They just have to be super supremely careful of these side lanes because they don't want to get caught out, by the Camille, by the Galio walking back onto them, as the second Rift Herald is going to be taken by 100T Next, and those side lanes looking a lot more pressured right now with that in their back pocket.
Yep, going to be very easy. They've already got the mid lane turret fairly low. A charge would take that one down. They could head over to bot lane if they do want to and continue to work on this outer turret line, which is really, I think, what's holding up the pace of the game right now, Kenobi. We've got that top lane turret down. Sniper has some roam timers off of that, but if you really want free access to the jungle, you got to take this front line of turrets all the way down. That Rift Herald going to go a long way towards accomplishing that goal.
And for IMT, you just got to start clearing out those wards, make sure that vision is taken out, as Dawnbray's going to go in, just give a little hi and thank you to Trevor and put that control ward back down. So again, trying to just get as much vision as possible deep in that jungle and make IMT very scared of trying to move through there at all. This turret's about to
land an array. He's going to land a hook. Oh, here we go. The root's in. He does have to cancel his curtain call due to Ezreal's ultimate, but they are diving in underneath the turret. Already going low is Winston. Can they try to turn around? No, Winston will fall first. The turret's gone down on the other end, and Sniper's got himself a kill. It is absolute destruction here, and 100X are flexing their muscles all over IMT AOE, looking for the ace. It's just blinking health bars remaining for the members of IMT. They will stay alive. 2 will fall as Anime Girl is splitting on the other half of the map, but it is still a successful play for 100X on the bot side.
And I mean, now they're going to do exactly what you wanted them to do here, DJ. They're going to break these first lines of turrets, and it's going to be, again, even harder for IMT AOE to really come back into this game. especially with the way that their base looks at the current moment. Luckily, Anime Girl was on the other side, able to get the top side turret, but still, I mean, now with all of these front turrets gone, the pushing power becomes even more of a problem. And still, I mean, we haven't seen the combo, like the IMT combo, really work out in their favor, and we haven't seen it at all. And I think it's just been I think Sword is kind of like the unsung hero, where he's been able to taunt at least one or two of the members into that combo, where it's either the Yasuo or he gets the Diana, and the combo just falls apart, because that's really the only knockup that they have on this team.
Yeah, the play of Sword and the pressure that's been put on by Fnatic right in the jungle has just made it so difficult. I think he's out. Yeah, okay, he is out. Good effort by Donbray, like the attempt, but just not quite there on the timer, and we'll just reset. But as we were talking about, right, the pressure, like, it's just such a different game from what we saw from Winston and Shochi last time out, when they were just blitzing everyone, going everywhere they wanted. It's very much shoe on the other foot with Fnatic controlling the objectives, understanding where he's needed to be and how he's needed to play out these fights, and really subduing this explosive mid-jungle duo from IMT AOE.
And there's another thing that's actually really hard about this current situation for IMT is because of the fact that there are these Chemtech fogs up. They have like almost no control and have to be so extremely careful walking through any of these parts of their jungle, because you could just be having, you know, a Rakan waiting in there, a Viego waiting in there, Sniper could be, there's so much just CC that could out of those areas to annihilate one of their members.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Kenobi. I think this is the part that competitive players really dislike right now about Chemtech, and this is what we're talking about. There they go. There's the engage. You couldn't even see it coming. Sniper going to lock him down. There is the heroic entrance from the Galio, and it is easy as you like. Pick after pick after pick. 3 members have already fallen for IMT AOE, and the other 2 have to head for the hills, as it looks like 100X might have the Baron in their eyes.
Especially with Winston not being in this fight, I think that should be a Baron secure here for 100X. I mean, I really cannot just explain how awesome it is to see 100T play against what IMT AOE is trying to do with their win condition. Like, every single time Winston is anywhere out of position, like Rakan is on him, there's the Galio on him, and IMT can't have these fights without the Diana and Yasuo combo.
Trying to steal it away, but now going to be in trouble. Meech, he does dash away, but how much longer can he survive? He's putting down quite a bit of poke, and it looks like the members of 100X just going to be satisfied to take the Baron and leave. They recognize that the timers on the deaths of the IMT AOE members are low, and Donbray now very much True Shot Barrage going to get the snipe, and Meech going to finally take something back in the favor of IMT AOE. Ultimate, though, Moonfall not quite going to do as much as Winston wanted. Fnatic, he's looking for the reset. He needs one more auto. He's going to get it. He's stunned. He gets the reset. Can he take down Meech? He can! Fnatic is popping off. Thank you, Riot, for the champion. Fnatic's got himself a triple.
Cloudric was taken on the other side, but it's just not enough. It feels like Fnatic is absolutely smurfing this game against Winston, who has been targeted so much by 100T Next. I talked about it a little bit earlier, where it's just like 100T Next is playing so well to the win condition of IMT AOE, right? Where they know exactly where the win condition is, they know how to break it, and they've been doing a perfect job of it every single team fight that we seem to be having. So 100T are definitely worthy of this insane gold lead that they have right now. The only way back again, I think, for IMT AOE right now is luckily they did get that Drake, so 2 more and they will be able to get Soul, but that's asking a lot against these Fed members of 100T Next, and the game might even end before we get to 4 Drakes.
Yeah, and then how do you even get there, Kenobi? We already talked about the Chemtech fog, right? You can barely see anything. You have 0 control over the map. Trying to walk up to the dragon is scary as it is when you're behind, but through the Chemtech fog makes it even scarier. Sword gonna land a taunt on the Shochi, and the show cannot go on for IMT AOE. What an engage from 100X and from Sword. They absolutely rip through their opposition. A stopwatch will keep Winston alive, but that is just a small consolation prize as the base is being busted open.
I mean, it's hard to really pick like an MVP for 100T Next. I would give it to literally everyone because I think Donbray's been smurfing on the Rakan since the start of the game. Swords and Gages have been so crispy and clean. I mean, Sniper is just Sniper in that top lane, and this is going to be another win in the back pocket of 100T Next here.
Winston will get himself one last kill on the backside. There are respawns coming in. Actually, the game's not going to end, and some low members on 100X. We saw something like this last game, overstaying a little bit, maybe getting a little cocky. Shochi's going to get one. Winston's going to get one. Array's trying to hunt him down. He'll get that kill and walk away, but 100X staying a bit too long, getting a little bit too big for their britches, as they are repelled from the IMT AOE base.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it actually directly and hit the nail on the head, where it's like, this is kind of a little bit what we saw in the last game against Maryville, where they did have such a good early game, and converting that early game into a win is sometimes where they struggle a little bit, and it felt like they're, okay, well, you know, Sochi, it happens sometimes. You know, you didn't know that the Jhin was there. Chemtech Fog is really good. It's really good, and unfortunately, it's not in your favorite this time.
Not this time around. And Array, he's still hunting a little bit, but now is the shoe on the other foot. Okay, he's going to respect the Chemtech Fog, and Big Girl close to getting Donbray, but not close enough.
There's TP coming in.
Here comes the TP. There's that global advantage for Sword. You're going to elect just to push the wave up. Think maybe 100X realizing, let's not have it like last game against Maryville. We're still very much in control of this game. The base is broken open. Let's dot our I's, cross our T's, and move ourselves to 4-0.
Yeah, let's just make sure that, like, at this point in the game, it should really be just as easy as, you know, dotting the I's and crossing those T's to win this game. You just have to play safely and securely to take this game out. The only way back again for IMT at this point is, you know, either you sneak a Baron or you get those Chemtech Drakes in your back pocket. But again, it's like, how does the game even last that long? It feels like for it to do that, 100T would have to make some pretty big mistakes.
Bot lane turret going to fall. That will open up the bottom side of the base. IMT AOE trying to defend, pushing away some of the waves, but Siege is still on. Zaray's hanging out, looking for some poke. This inhibitor is exposed and will likely go down under the pressure of 100X as they finally look to secure this fourth win and establish themselves as one of the best two teams in this tournament, move themselves to 4-0 with the chance of going that perfect 5-0 in the OQs for great position.
Oh, what an engage.
In the group stage, and oh my god, Donbray, you are absolutely sick. What a combination from 100X. The bars are blinking. The bars are absolutely breaking. It is gorgeous from 100X. You couldn't do it any better. Donbray puts the exclamation point on a brilliant win for 100X.
Yeah, someone check Donbray's PC. I mean, that was absolute filth coming from that Rakan engage there. What an absolute statement from 100T Next here in this game. Going to 4-0. I mean, the way that they played against IMT, so crisp, so clean, almost textbook in how to deal with like a wombo combo combination like IMT had, and unfortunately, I guess I'm cursed, and if any teams want to like ask me to pred their, you know, the enemy teams, then you're gonna win, because it feels like I am the most unlucky person right now on this broadcast. But
all right,
full
Shox.
credit.
I mean, yeah. When are the full monologues gonna come out here, Kenobi?
The script, you know, it kind of just like falters a little bit depending on what day it is. I don't have the perfect one in my head currently, but man, what a performance. I can't say enough by 100 Thieves Next. Not just by like a singular member, even though Donbray and Sword, I think, like smurfed hard. Like Fnatic was good, Sniper was good, Jhin or Array on Jhin like did the thing that you're supposed to do with Jhin, you know, hit W's from afar, be that kind of long range pick comp. But I thought overall IMT's had a good draft. It's just, I think that really 100 Thieves as a team smurfed so nasty.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kenobi. They read the situation super well. They executed it absolutely brilliantly. And if we thought there was going to be a little rust, this is not the look of a team with rust, with early season jitters. This is the look of a team that has gelled very, very quickly. And this is the look of a team that is living up to the hype that was set for them. This is why people had them as the best team in amateur, as a team that could contend with the academy teams for proving grounds. They are showing us glimpses very early on in the season here and have set themselves up with a chance to go 5-0 against the winner of GGA and No Team, which is still ongoing actually at the moment. So not quite sure who they will be going up against yet as they look for that top billing in Proving Grounds OQ. So with that, we'll wrap it up here for our fourth game. Our final game of the OQs will be up right after we finish all of the round 4 games. So stick around with us. Hop over to Unified Live to see the end of that game, and we will bring you the exciting conclusion of the OQs when we come back.